Sorry, I had to scratch my eye.
I wanted to start so badly there because you're making the stupidest face. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I am Sean Anderson, the most valuable podcast. Alongside me is Ricky Widmer, and we are doing our Game 5 reaction to the NBA Finals. The Warriors lost this one, but they are still up in the series 3-2. The Cavs took the victory in the Oracle 112-97. And before we start, in our Game 4 reaction, this was before the Draymond Green suspension, so we did not know that going in, and obviously that altered the game because Draymond is the best defensive player on the Warriors, so obviously this game was affected, but still, Draymond or no Draymond, you cannot put down the performance that Kyrie Irving had in the fourth quarter. You cannot put down the performance that LeBron James had in the whole game, both scoring 40 points, the first ever teammates to score 40 points in the NBA Finals, or in the playoffs, I actually think. Before Ricky interjects saying that, this game would have been totally different with Draymond Green.
He knows me.
Do just want to say that, the Cavs did look motivated, the Cavs did look like a team, and the Cavs did play whether you had Draymond or not, but why don't you go on your rant about the NBA?
Well, my whole thing about the whole Draymond thing is, I want to say before I say this, yes, Kyrie played out of his mind. Yes, LeBron played out of his mind. And you can sit there and go, okay, let's give credit where credit is due because the game happened. However, in my mind, I'm saying, okay, I'm going to give you credit for that. And then I go over the other side. However, it would have been a little bit differently if, I don't know, the heart and soul of this Warrior team was out there. Because here's what Draymond, this game showed why Draymond Green is going to be the Finals MVP. This showed it because this Warrior defense was anemic without him out there. He's not just a guy who can man the middle, but he's a guy that also calls for screens, calls for, okay, you get him, you get him. It's kind of like the Warriors describe him as their center fielder at the center position. So with me, I kind of sit there and go, yes, these two played great, but it would have been differently. I don't know if the Warriors had their best player this postseason minus that Thunder series to be out there for this game. And also, the one thing that the Draymond suspension didn't get a magnifying glass on it for me until Bogut got injured. Once Bogut got injured, the Warriors had no shot because then they had to play Harrison Barnes at the 5.
Looking at this game just without Draymond, you just got to look at it. What did the Warriors do wrong?
They didn't shoot.
Obviously,
they didn't hit their shots. That was it.
If you look at Curry, he went 5 for 14, which is pretty bad, but Clay went 6 for 11. He scored 37 points.
Well, here's what it was. They played shit defense, and they didn't hit their shots. The reason why they didn't hit their shots, they were so tired by the end of this game to where they just weren't hitting shots. They got open looks. Barnes, Thompson, Curry, they got open looks. They just weren't hitting
You're
them.
Talking about them being tired. Would Draymond change that much? Would Clay and Steph still be tired? I think they would still be tired.
It was one of those things where Steve Kerr had to change the lineup a little bit, and they had to go to that smaller lineup, like I said, the small lineup, but also Barnes was at the 5. Barnes would have had some more time on the bench if Green was out there. That small lineup of Barnes, Livingston, I think Barbosa was in the game, but that may have been because Green wasn't there. This Draymond Green thing wasn't just Draymond Green wasn't on the floor. It screwed up the Warriors because they rely on him on defense. It screwed up their rotations. It screwed up other players that Barnes isn't used to playing this way, and it just screwed up the whole team, and they looked kind of flustered because of it. And like I said, the whole first half, Bogut was out there. So it's like, okay, we don't have Draymond Green. We'll just have to rely on Bogut. But then Bogut gets that knee injury, and it's like 2 minutes after that happened, I said, this ain't good.
And we're not going to go too in-depth into the suspension because if you look at our Game 4 reaction, we didn't even think it was actually going to happen. We didn't think, I think Ricky briefly talked about it, but we didn't think it was actually going to be.
It shouldn't have happened, but that's besides the point.
Do you think the Cavs would have won this with Draymond Green in the game?
No.
Why is that?
It would have been.
You don't think LeBron and Kyrie would have had played out of their minds like they did?
Okay, here's what I think. If Draymond Green was in the game, first off, I tweeted this out. Some of you liked it. Thank you guys for those of you who did, but the Warriors lost by 15. Draymond Green is averaging 15
That doesn't mean he would have scored 15 points.
I'm not saying that.
It doesn't mean Klay Thompson. No,
hey,
I'm going to get my points
speak.
in. You never let me speak.
Let me speak.
You never. Okay, Klay Thompson might not have scored 37 if Draymond's taking points away from him. They still played the same amount of minutes.
Like I said, that's the first thing I thought of. Oh, they lost by 15. Draymond Green averages 15. However, look at LeBron. Maybe LeBron doesn't have 40 points if Draymond Green's out there. Maybe Kyrie, they still have great games, but don't have as great as games as they do. We could sit here and talk all day about what coulda, shoulda, and probably would have happened. But the point is, we're going back to Cleveland for a Game 6, which I called.
Did Draymond Green play in 2015? Every single game in the finals of last year.
2015 was a completely different year than
no,
this.
answer my question.
Yeah, he did.
So he was most likely protecting LeBron James. If you look at LeBron James' stat line, if you take in 36, 12, and 6, since 2003, there's been 3 times that stat line has happened. LeBron last night, then LeBron in 2015 in Game 2, Game 3, and Game 5. Draymond was on the court there. What happened to that? Why didn't Draymond stop it there?
This is what I'm saying. The end result. LeBron's the best player in the NBA. He's the best player in these playoffs right now.
Now you're taking some back.
No,
because you said Steph.
Well, okay, this playoffs. Let's be honest. Steph has been shit, and it's only because he can't hit his shot. That's the only reason.
He's got a lot of injuries to deal with.
Otherwise, they're not going to say it's the injury. We can know he's banged up. I know.
There's banged up,
and then he's banged up.
No, there's banged up, and then you see the report saying that he's going to need surgery after this season.
But Steph Curry's never going to admit to that. He's going to say.
No, but I'm just saying you
could
easily see that he's injured, and he's not the same Steph because he's injured. It's not he's not making his shots. He's injured.
Here's the thing that I think is going to this game for the Cavaliers was I don't think they can replicate it 2 more times. Maybe 1 time because Game 6 you might be able to give it to them because they'll be at home. They'll be coming back to the queue. However, the Warriors are going to get an emotional boost by having Draymond just back in the locker room. So we don't even know what kind of an emotional boost that's going to do for them. But I look at the minutes and I looked how much not just LeBron and Kyrie played, but Ty Lue basically said, if I don't fucking trust you, you're not playing in this game. And that's what he did.
Which is smart. You put your best players on the court.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's going to do that again. And some of these guys, it may be taxing on them.
But there's a 2-day break. They're not playing until Thursday. So they have time to take a day off. They have time to rest up.
I'm still saying, in the game, it's going to be one of those things where, we're fine. Okay, by the 3rd and 4th, we're falling off, and if the Warriors are hitting their shot, they're going to win.
All right, I'm going to ask you one more question, and then I'll go to the Cavs side. All right, with Draymond back in the lineup for Game 6, do they need to change anything, or is it just Draymond adding back to this team? Was that going to change it enough, and will the Warriors close it in Cleveland?
You just go back to what, adding Draymond back to the lineup says, you know what, forget about Game 5. That was an anomaly at this point. We're just going to go back to what we did in Games 4, Games 2, Game 1, even Game 3, even though we lost. We're going to go back to the same thing we were doing because that game plan was working. We were up 3-1.
How are you going to stop Kyrie Irving then?
You're just going to play the same thing.
You're going to do the same thing where he put 41 points up? Draymond did not stop that.
You're going to do the same thing you were doing before Game 5 because Kyrie can put 40 points up.
Kyrie's been dominant every game.
But the thing that counts is a 3-1 series lead coming into that Game 5.
I just asked how you're going to stop him.
That to me says just do the same thing. You don't need to stop him 110% because all you got to do is hit your shots and limit some of the other guys, and you'll be fine.
The only game they really stopped him was Game 2, where he scored 10 points. Outside of that, 26 points, 30 points, 34 points, and 41.
You just got to
obviously you do.
You just got to limit everybody else. You could, I say, just fuck it. Let LeBron and Kyrie be them, and then limit everyone else because Kevin Love ain't going to give you anything.
Okay. So let LeBron and Kyrie put up 41 and 41 again, where they scored 82 points of Cleveland's. Outside of that, Caleb had 2 points. Outside of that, Tristan Thompson had 6. Outside of that, J.R. Smith had 10. And then Richard Jefferson contributed 8 points, and Shumpert contributed 4. You let LeBron and Kyrie beat you, then they destroyed you. They made you look foolish out there.
If the Warriors...
Kyrie dominated that fourth quarter.
If the Warriors play exactly like they did in Game 4, I'm going to use that one because it was in the queue, they'll win this game.
What about Game 3?
What about Game 3?
They dominated the offensive
Game
boards.
3. You lost. You don't want to play like that. You play like Game 4.
Well, obviously you got to fix stuff like that.
They did. They won. And here's another thing.
They didn't win Game 5.
Here's another thing that I tweeted about the Warriors. This year, the Warriors are 13-1 coming off of a loss this season. The only time they lost back-to-back this season was Games 3 and 4, I believe, of the Western Conference Finals. That's it. So if I'm a Warriors fan, I'm just sitting back and going, hey, you know what? We're not a team that loses 2 in a row. We'll win it at the Q.
Last time they lost 3 straight, I believe, was 2013 of November. So I mean, obviously this team. I'm not trying to take away from the Warriors. All right, obviously, not having Draymond Green out there is a huge, disadvantage there. You're not going to have your best defensive player out there. You're not going to have a guy who really helps run your offense. I mean, obviously, it's a huge loss there. And I'm not saying that, this. I agree with, most people are saying this suspension came out of nowhere and it was really just, pointless.
It's fucking bullshit. Hey,
Okay.
The thing that's bullshit about it, and you just got me started on this, is all I'm going to say.
Oh, you just got it started?
This is all I'm going to say on it. Is 48 hours after the fact to then say, oh, we're going to issue a flagrant foul? Fucking bullshit. If it was like the next day, okay, fine. You looked at it, you did your due diligence, and you said, fine, we're going to do it. But 48 hours after the fact, you're going to basically give this guy a flagrant one, which I know everyone out there that's been tweeting at me and direct messaging, well, Ricky, he wasn't suspended for the nut tap. He was suspended for the flagrant foul. I know that. But the league sat there and said, oh, let's give him a flagrant one for this because we can and justify it, and it'll take him out the next game. The 48 hours, that's the bullshit thing. You wait that long for it.
I agree with you that it shouldn't have been 48 hours, but you just said, so if they can justify it, they should be able to do it. That makes no sense. Okay, if you're able to justify something, then obviously it's justifiable and it should be able to happen. That's what justifiable means. If you're able to justify something, it means it's correct.
Let me ask this question. If the shoe was on the other foot and it was LeBron one flagrant foul away and he did the same thing, do you think the NBA would do it? No, they'd just be like, no, he didn't do anything wrong.
I have no idea.
Because they would not want to take LeBron out of the game because he's the one that puts people in the fucking seats along with Steph Curry.
I agree with you that the 48 hours is ridiculous. I agree that, waiting that long is ridiculous. Suspending someone, that late is absurd. Should have been, if it's going to happen, it should have happened earlier. So the Warriors been able to, game plan and figure out what they were going to do sooner. I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. The foul itself and the flagrant, he should have just been more clean throughout the whole playoffs, throughout the whole regular season. He should have just played, if he didn't give them a reason to, and this was his first offense and they're suspending him, then that's a different story. But obviously we've seen this stuff with Steven Adams before in the Western Conference Final where this has been a thing. But again, I agree with you, 48 hours is absurd.
And the Steven Adams one was worse than this.
That I agree with that too. If you look at the Cavs, though, what they did well was obviously playing through LeBron James and then Kyrie Irving stepped it up in the fourth quarter and played out of his goddamn mind. But the one thing that I do want to say that about the Cavs here is Tyronn Lue did go away from what really worked in Game 3, which was playing Richard Jefferson a ton of minutes. And obviously, you want to get K-Love in there because he's your star, and putting him on the bench might hurt his confidence a lot. But he started this game, played 33 minutes, got 5 shots, and went 1 for 5.
After 2
he
points,
was nothing.
Just sit him.
Yeah, I with K-Love, you got to put him off the bench because for some reason Kyrie and LeBron does not work. But if you put Richard Jefferson in with those two, he applies this spark. He applies just this different kind of game that we really don't see from anyone else on this Cavs team. Richard Jefferson only played 14 minutes. You need to get his minutes going there. I think Richard Jefferson is a key part of this to win in Game 5. I think you need to put Richard Jefferson back in the starting lineup here. And I'm not saying give him 30 minutes or give him something like that, but you need him starting. You need him to get off to a quick start for the Cavs. And you look at the offensive rebounds. I said this consistently after every single game that if the Cavs dominate offensive boards, they're going to win their game. They only had 8 offensive rebounds, which is surprising that they won this game, but they still did play out of their minds, grabbing a ton of rebounds, especially just Tristan Thompson and LeBron themselves. So I mean, I look at Richard Jefferson, he should be starting. K-Love should be coming off the bench. And I think you do need to rely on your bench more because Tristan Thompson playing 42 minutes is kind of absurd. I mean, he did play fantastic. He's been fantastic this whole finals, and it's been surprising. It might be, proving why he deserved that contract, but I think you need to get people more involved.
And we didn't mention the Thomas that the Warriors went to.
Yeah, but I mean, he went 40%.
Yeah,
awful.
but that's the thing where I saw that and I went, I'm rooting for the Warriors in this series, and I went, oh, fucking shit. Why do we have to go to this?
Yeah, I
understand why, but it's like, come on, play basketball.
The thing is for the Cavs, I mean, obviously, we've been saying LeBron James needs to step up, and boy, 41 points is definitely stepping up. And Kyrie Irving scoring 41 is absurd. If those two can play the way they did, and the thing is, like, and we even talked about this on the fast break, like, should the Cavs trade K-Love? I mean, obviously these two, LeBron and Kyrie, they're working together and they're playing out of their mind. And maybe you do make a trade for K-Love to get someone who could be more of a player who plays down low. But I mean, looking at LeBron and Kyrie, if they can play together and they can mesh as well as they did, and JR can be effective from three, and Tristan Thompson can be grabbing boards, I think they have a legitimate shot to push this to 7. We might be talking on Father's Day and might have some entertainment on Father's Day. You're shaking your head, but am I wrong?
don't think
No, I'm not saying that's my
6.
prediction. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I'm saying if they play the way they did and Tristan Thompson is able to grab rebounds and J.R. Smith is effective from 3, you do not think the Cavs can win this game?
Nope.
There's
Warriors are winning it.
100% chance the Warriors are winning it.
I'm going to tell you right now, this is how it's going to go down. Warriors win, last second shot coming off of a screen. Curry, it's over, confetti.
You are fucking oblivious. My prediction for this is I think the Warriors will win this, but I'm not saying it's going to be. I'm saying how the Cavs will win. I think it's if they're both effective. Tristan Thompson's grabbing boards, J.R. Smith, Delly, Shumpert, all these guys, Jefferson are all effective, and you're able to have LeBron be the star, you're able to have Kyrie be the star, and Tristan Thompson grabbing boards and facilitating everyone else. I think that's really going to be an advantage. Obviously, Channing Frye's just not going to play. I don't know. He got on Tyler's ship list. He didn't even have a minute last time.
Well, he doesn't play defense.
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't even have a minute. I mean, a lot of people don't play defense on the Cavs. Come on, let's be honest.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where, like I said, he went to the guys that were going to get him, and he didn't trust Channing Frye. So
Channing Frye's been fantastic in the first 3 rounds.
The one thing I will say, and this is the only good thing about this series going 7, is that when the Warriors do win it in Game 7,
I thought they were winning at 6.
They're going to win it in 6. But if it,
you just said they're going to Game 7.
No, this is a fantasy world. Put on your fantasy
You're
goggles,
always in
Sean.
a fantasy world.
Put on your fantasy goggles.
Yours are already on.
Yeah, they're winning in 6. However, in this fantasy world that Sean put up because he wasted breath.
I said the Warriors were going to win.
The
Warriors were going to win.
Wasted breath on telling you how the Cavs were going to win when they're not. If we do go to 7, it's going to be great because then Steph Curry wins the championship on Father's Day, gets the record, and wins the championship on Father's Day like Jordan did when he got the record.
You are delusional. I say the Warriors do win, even though I said that before, and you're still trying to say me that I didn't.
That's what smart people say.
I hope the Cavs fucking smoke the Warriors.
They won't.
Fucking smoke them.
It's okay.
I hope they do. I hope you are bored out of your mind and LeBron is just plastered over your screen scoring 55 points. I hope that happens just to ruin your day. But anyways, I think the Warriors are going to win just because Draymond will add more defense back to him, and I think their ability to shoot will come back. And I don't think Steph wants to go another 7. I think Steph will put away and try to put aside all of his injuries, all of his problems. He will try to step up for the Cavs and try to be the MVP like he was in the regular season. I think we'll see a performance from Steph that we might not have seen in the finals so far from him. I think LeBron will be effective. I think this won't be a loss placed on LeBron. I think people will just see that the Warriors were a better team. I'm not saying the Cavs can't win. Obviously, I think the Cavs can win. I think it's kind of a toss-up. I think it's 50-50 here. My gut just says the Warriors are going to win this in 6. But I look at this and I say that the Cavs really just need to be effective like they were. I mean, if they're not effective and if they get off to a slow start, then that's just going to put them out immediately. The Cavs need to be effective right away and consistently, and if they slip up, then the Warriors are going to be able to attack that and take it down. Any final predictions?
I'm just going to say what I said before. It's going to be a great game. Kyrie and LeBron are going to try to fight to keep the series going, but like I said, the way I see it, it's going to be a last-second shot from Curry, nothing but net as the time expires for the Warriors to win in Cleveland.
If you want to complain about how big of an idiot Ricky is in the comments, please feel free to down below because I will sign on to the MVP account and just talk trash about him because I talk trash to him in the videos. I talk trash to his face about him. He makes my blood boil. This man is insane how just idiotic he is. He's an idiot. But anyways, if you do want to talk to us in a different way, you can obviously talk to us down below in the comments. You can find us on Twitter at Most Valuable Pod. You can find me on Twitter at Schwarbo. You can find that idiot at Ricky Widmer. You can find us on Facebook, MVP Sports Network. You can find us on Snapchat here at Most Valuable Pod. You can find us on patreon.com/Most Valuable Podcast. Patrons who donate at least $1 do get a monthly podcast that's special for everyone, for all the patrons. So if you do want to check that out, link is in the description. The whole stuff's all right there. And don't forget to like this video. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel because we're obviously going to be putting out a Game 6 reaction. We'll see if it goes to 7. I don't think it will go to 7. I picked the Cavs in 7, so I'm hoping it does. And I hope I can rub something in Ricky's face. But yeah, if you do like this video, like it. So keep telling us, keep supporting us. Like that video, subscribe to our channel, and we will see you for Game 6.